Mohamed. Allahumma Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sallallahu alayka ya Mawlaya ya Rasul Allah. صلى الله عليك سيدي أيها البشير النذير والسراج المنير صلى الله عليك يا مولاي وعلى ابنك المظلوم الشهيد العطشان الظمآن العريان أبا عبد الله سيدي السلام عليك وعلى ابنك المذبوح المقطع علي الأكبر سيدي يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما صلى على محمد وآل محمد اللهم Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We begin by remembering once again, as our habit, a certain group in our community. Tonight, inshallah, we will attribute our famous salawat to a group who is the up and rising, the future of the community, the communities which are built of this group of people, and that is our youth. To the youth that deserve our utmost attention, the youth that deserve our utmost respect and love and appreciation. Let's show them that we are here for them and appreciate them with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا من خزائن علومك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما Allah. Teach us what benefits us and benefit us from what you've taught us and increase in our knowledge. Once again, brothers, sisters, uncles and aunties, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we've reached the end of the journey of the inner kingdom. It's been a beautiful journey to embark on with each other. So far we've discussed the inner paradigms and the inner components of our being. Inshallah, I hope and pray that you guys have learned a lot, internalized even more, and inshallah, moving forward after Muharram, you take this information and you practice it, you implement it, you take it as a source of empowerment for you and those around you. Tonight we conclude by discussing the purpose and the main character of this inner kingdom, and that is the king of the inner kingdom, and that is the soul, al-ruh. Inshallah, we'll be doing this in 3 phases. And I hope you can all pay attention, stay with me. Inshallah, tonight's lecture shouldn't be as complicated or complex. It would be a bit more practical and to talk about things that, inshallah, we're putting together now, the pieces of the puzzle. Everything that we've discussed over the past 7 nights, now we are just putting it together by understanding the essence of the soul. If you'd allow me, please recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In the first phase, we want to discuss the unveiling of this king. We want to understand, when we say soul, what are we talking about? Our journey begins by understanding or entering through the realm of the Quran, the paradigm of the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah 15, verse 29 in Surah Al-Hijr, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and when I have proportioned him, he's molded man, when he created Adam alayhi salam, he created the figure of Adam alayhi salam, the body of Adam alayhi salam, and I breathed into him of my created soul, and he became. وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. Before this, Adam was just a sculpture. After this, he became a human being. The divine breath that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blew onto Adam alayhi salam is what we are referring to. It's this soul that is everlasting. It's this soul that is not confined by the world or the realm of time and space. And it's the element in us that hails directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. On a number of occasions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this idea. And this is why the soul is the king of the inner kingdom. It's because the soul is what makes you different. The soul is the part of you that is not from the lower world. It's from the upper world. It's from the higher world. It's from the secrets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember what we mentioned. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ. And they ask you about the soul. قُلِ الرُّوحِ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. That the soul is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and only He knows the secrets of God, of the soul. Only Allah knows the secrets of the soul. You won't be able to understand and comprehend and fathom the secrets of the soul. So, I am not going to act right now on this night like I understand what the soul is, or try and define and give you terminology and come, because I don't know what the soul is. No one knows what the soul is. No one knows the metaphysical reality of what this divine breath entails. So we're going to try and understand it in our limited way. In the Islamic faith, as Muslims, the soul is considered the ruh, ar-ruh. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of the soul as a creation of Allah's command. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly molded this creation. But its nature is always going to be mysterious. Until inshallah we are removed from the shackles of this dunya, until we are removed from the shackles of the limited time and space, we won't be able to comprehend what it is. But here are some key points in trying to analyze and understand what the soul is. We're going to do this by understanding a few components of the soul. The first is the transcendence of the soul. See, the soul, like we mentioned, is not confined by the world of time and space. It's not a physical creation. It's not limited by the physical world. It's something beyond our senses. Our senses can't perceive a soul. You can't see it, you can't hear it, and you can't smell it. Science can't even explain it. Science has been trying to comprehend it. Even in the field of psychology, there are different explanations, and some would, they use the term consciousness, and now they're trying to make the soul some physical being that has to do with the brain, and they're trying to do all these things, but even they say there is no conclusive evidence as to what this consciousness is. No one can comprehend it. No one understands it. We're trying. There are some fields of psychology that have admitted that there is something called some consciousness, and it is beyond our world. Like Carl Jung, for example, in his field of transcendent psychology, or transpersonal psychology, I should say, where he perceives all of us as a collective consciousness, we are all in some way connected. He doesn't want to say God, but we're all in some way connected. Of course we're all in some way connected. We came from Allah. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So the soul is metaphysical in nature, and the soul in its nature is not confined by the world of time and space. What does this mean? It means that the soul is constantly yearning to go back home. Where is its home? Where is its home? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Perfection. And therefore the soul is constantly yearning for perfection. يا أيها الإنسان إنك كادح إلى ربك كدحا فملاقيه. O human being, surely you are in a constant strife towards your Lord. And this strife is constant. And you will achieve Him. You will reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why, my brothers and sisters, we have something called ambition. That's where ambition comes from. You have people that are ambitious, that are always trying to get better and better. You play soccer, you want to become the best soccer player. You have a business, you want to have the best business. You're in school, you want to get the best marks. You have friends, you want to be... You're constantly trying to be the best because your soul is programmed and wired for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is perfection. So you're constantly trying to seek perfection. So that's the transcendence of the soul. The second element that we must understand about the soul is its origin, as we mentioned. That وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي, meaning that the nature of the soul isn't from this world. So the first, it's not physical, it's metaphysical. Second, that it's from God, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's got a divine origin. For example, our body is of physical origin. Allah created and molded the body, but from clay, from the earth. Comes from the earth. We created you from clay. The soul is not from clay. It's not from this world. The third element we have to understand is the soul's journey. The body right now, may Allah prolong all of your lives, but if someone dies right now, if I pass away right now, my body is gone. It's finished. The use of this vessel is done. It's complete. It served its purpose. But my soul doesn't end here. It moves to the next level. It's the journey of the soul has just begun. Why? Because I have removed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has removed the limitations of the physical world onto the soul. This materialistic world that confines me by here and there, now and then, is now removed. Further? Yeah. So the soul, number one, did not begin with me, being born from my mother's womb. It came from before then. And it is not confined to this world, and it continues on its journey. The fourth element that we must understand is, as we mentioned, because of the metaphysical nature and the metaphysical essence, the essence that is beyond the physical world, beyond this materialistic world, we're constantly striving for limitlessness. We're always trying to be the best. We're trying to be the perfect manifestation. When I say manifestation, I mean reflection, the perfect reflection of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Allah is Al-Karim, Allah is the generous, Allah is the merciful, Allah is the wise, Allah is the knowledgeable, Allah is the powerful and infinite in all of that. And therefore I am trying to be, whether I am conscious or non-conscious, whether I know or not, I'm always trying to be perfect in mercy. I should be perfect in mercy, but I'm trying to be perfect at least in power, in influence, in knowledge, and so on and so forth. Now, how does this relate to the inner kingdom? Where is the connection between the soul and the other components of the inner kingdom? Just as Any nation right now cannot function without interaction between the components within the kingdom. You can't have a kingdom, for example, where the businesses do their own thing, the guardians do their own thing, the palace is by itself, it's in one place, the prime minister is doing his own thing, and everyone. No, a nation or a kingdom has to work together, has to synchronize. So the king's role is to make sure that all of this is synchronized, all of this is working. And they work in a way where the king always is going to have power and control. For example, when you think about this. I said you think, you feel, you do. If you were your thoughts, then who's the one that's thinking? If you were the feeling, then who's the one that's feeling? You are the one that thinks. You are the one that feels. And you are the one that does. That is the soul. That's the reality. That's you. I know it's a bit deep. You are the overarching power over the one who thinks. When I say, bro, you gotta think in a different way. You gotta take control of your emotions. You gotta use your body in a certain way. You have to maintain the guardians. You have to control the prime minister. You have to make sure that it's you. It's the soul. It's your power. It's your choice. Now, we've all heard of the word nafs. So we have ruh and we have nafs. So what's the nafs play here? The ruh in itself, we said, is divine. Like, for example, this water. Just as an example. This water, when I put it in this cup, it takes the shape of the cup. Let's say this cup can hold 200 milliliters of water. That means I can't put more than 200 milliliters of water. Simple maths, right? I can't put 250 mils of water in a cup that holds 200 mils of water. Now, this body, when I was created, when I was born and my mother gave birth to me, the soul was placed inside this body, the same way the water was placed inside this cup. Now, this cup, I can easily throw the water and the cup still exists, right? The soul is just traveling in this body. But as soon as the soul is in this body, it becomes limited, correct? It's limited by this world, this time and space and matter and what's happening around me. And because it's limited by this world, you have now the mind, you have the heart, you have emotions, you have all of these different components. This is what composes your ego. These different paradigms within you, with the soul inside your body. If someone is dead right now, next to me, beside me, there's no ego, he's dead. The ego is developed when the soul is in the body, and then you begin to have thoughts of your own, beliefs of your own, feelings of your own, understanding of your own. That's your ego. That's your nafs. Your nafs, we're going to talk about this more towards the end of the talk, inshallah. But your nafs is what you must take care of. Your nafs is the product of your jihad, the inner struggle. Your nafs can either be programmed in a negative way, so you have an-nafs al-ammara bis-su'. Your nafs can be also programmed in a positive way. Don't worry, this is going to make more sense towards the end. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I spoke a lot right now. Let me just quickly summarize everything I just said, just so we're not hanging in the air. Basically, all I'm saying is a few very simple ideas. Number one, the soul is not from this world, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, the soul is not limited to the physical world. Number three, when the soul is placed in the body, it becomes limited. Number four, your soul, because its divine nature, is constantly searching for perfection, therefore constantly searching for God. Simple? Let's go to the next phase. When we stand up, phase two, when we stand up for justice, when you feel compassion for the oppressed, you know, when you see, for example, a child being beaten up on the street, for example. You see someone being oppressed in front of you, and a part of you just cannot take it. You just can't hack that this person is being oppressed. It's like you're internally programmed and wired to not accept this. And you have something telling you, but this is wrong, I can't accept this. Correct? And therefore you're in a place where there's a moral choice and you need to do something. And you do something. This is the soul's influence. To observe and watch what's happening and say, this is right, this is wrong. Remember, conscience. The word conscience is different to the word consciousness. The word conscience is the internal compass that tells you what's right and what's wrong. When your soul is not corrupt, when your soul is in a healthy manner, the compass is clear. It's working towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When your soul is corrupt, then your soul is now working towards shaitan. And therefore you no longer perceive what's right and wrong. You make what's good bad and what's bad good. An example of this, tahdhib, of this inner struggle, of taking control of this inner struggle, is, a perfect example actually, is when you're put in a very, very tough situation. When you're in a tough situation and the easy thing to do is the wrong thing. The wrong thing is the easy thing to do, but it might just be wrong by your own standards, not by everyone else's standards. For example, in Islam, it's halal, nay, it's wajib to eat pork if you're about to die. If you're about to die right now, there's no food, you're scarcity, and if you don't eat, you are going to die. And there's pork in front of you. And the pork is haram, correct? Undoubtedly haram. But I'm dying of hunger, and I'm about to die, and there is pork in front of me. It's not that I can eat pork, it becomes wajib to eat pork, because your life is more important than this haram. The sanctity of human life. But internally, you're going to feel bad. Internally, you know it's haram, or well, it's wajib essentially, but you feel, what am I doing? A beautiful example of this happened many times on the road to Karbala, and especially in Karbala. Let me give you a perfect example. On the 7th day of Muharram, the water was cut off from the army of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Cut off, no more water. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam was asked, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You guys know Abu al-Fadl alayhi salam, why was he called Saqil Utasha? Because Sakina alayhi salam came to Abu al-Fadl and she said, Uncle, I'm thirsty. I can't take it. So Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas took a battalion, took some of the companions, and they rowed and went to the river of Euphrates. And they filled the water, and they brought water back. They drank some water, the water ran out. That is why on the 10th of Muharram, Sakina alayhi salam came to Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas again. She said, Abu Fadl, can you get me water? Al-atash qad qatalana. We are dying of thirst. Abu Abdullah is thirsty. The children are thirsty. The women are thirsty. Abdullah Radiya has no water. So what does Abu Abbas alayhi salam do? He writes, he takes permission from Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Ya Abu Abdullah, can I go get water? Yes, but you can't fight. Please don't go to fight. Just go get water and come back. So Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salam goes to the river. And in front of the river, what does he do? He's thirsty, dying of thirst. He's a commander, right? He's a general. He's a flag bearer. So he picks up water and he's about to drink water. What does he do? He throws it away. But was he allowed to drink water? Of course he was. But he speaks to himself. He says, Ya nafs, O self, min ba'd al-Husayn huni. How can I drink water and my master is thirsty. Look at the control he had in his inner kingdom. His body needs water. The inner kingdom itself is thirsty for water. Yet he throws it aside and he says, how can I allow myself to drink water and my master is thirsty? And he throws it aside. That shows you the power that you can have over your own nafs. Because a 1,000,000% part of him was saying, drink water. That's why he picked up the water in the first place. But look at that battle in that moment. Part of him is saying, drink. Another part of him is saying, don't drink. What won? Which part of him won? The part that said, don't drink. That is because he had power and discipline over himself. He had controlled himself. Now, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is a testament to the power of the soul. That no matter what adversity you're at, no matter how hard you are, no matter how hard the experience you're going through, you definitely have within you the power to take control of the inner kingdom and of your choices. He chose to say, I don't want the water. So, let's enter the last phase. But let's talk more about the ego and how do we master the ego. Before we proceed in this final phase of our journey, we're about to wrap up this whole inner kingdom, I want us to reflect on a deeply psychological and spiritual truth that's revealed in the Holy Quran. On two different occasions in the Holy Quran, and I'm going to mention both of them. The first is in Surah Al-Shams. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. And by the self and he who proportioned it. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورُهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. And inspired it with discernment of wickedness and righteousness. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. He has succeeded who purifies it. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. And he has failed who instills it with corruption. So that's the first. We'll touch on it more in a second. The second is in Surah Qaf, verse 16. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانِ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسْ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. And we have created man, and we know what his self whispers to him. Brothers, sisters, listen to this. We know what his self whispers to him. So who's whispering to who? His self is whispering to himself. Within you there's these two selves. And we are closer to him than his jugular vein. So we are closer to him than himself. Even these two selves within you, we are closer to you. These verses introduce two conflicting identities within you. On one hand, you have your base desires, which is referred to nafs. The nafs which is not purified, inclines us towards what? Towards self-gratification, towards pursuing passions that have no meaning, towards what? Towards trying to achieve things that are not in line with the needs of the king of the inner kingdom. This is the cunning ego. This is the lower self. This is what is referred to as the animalistic desire within you. This is what, if you abide by it, you become worse than animals. بَلْ أَضَلُّ سَبِيلًا. But when you overpower this ego, which paints evil as good, it makes evil seem desirable. It makes bad immorality look moral. It makes virtue seem useless and mundane. It makes it look boring. On the other hand, you have your soul. Now, when purified, it's considered, now remember, the soul, once it's put in the body, it becomes nafs. The soul itself is pure and perfect. It's a divine entity. When it's put in the body, it becomes nafs. In the nafs, now you have a nafsul lawama, the second part of you. The second aspect, the second paradigm. The part of you that stops you and says, hold on, what are you doing? No, what are you saying? this part of you motivates you towards higher virtues, towards becoming a better person. And you're constantly in a war between these two parts of you. You're constantly in a war between this pure spirit within you, which is an-nafs al-lawama, and this spirit within you. Now, when the spirit, when this nafs, when this soul passes the body, exits the end of the realm of time and space, and it goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's good, and it has won the internal battle, what's it called? An-nafs al-mutma'inna. So, this internal battle is what is considered jihad al-nafs. It's you against you. It's the two voices within you against each other. It's your role to use the different characters and components in the inner kingdom to make sure you win this battle. It's your role to make sure that when the egoistic self, the lower self, is inclining you towards haram, towards negativity, towards things that are going to take you away from your beautiful nature, that you overpower it with the Prime Minister. You overpower it with the mind. You utilize the tool of the body. You utilize your emotions in a way. You make sure that the heart is pure to overcome this lower self. This is where this connects. Because this is the jihad al-akbar. This is the great struggle. Imagine you have a critical exam coming up. And you hear a whisper. Take a break. Go watch this show. Go binge. Go do this. You deserve watching this new series. Huh? What's happening? Internally you're hearing this voice. This is where this other voice has to come and says, hold on a minute, you have to go study. The gratification that you're going to get from doing well in your exam is going to be better than watching this TV show right now. Practical implementation. The inner voice is now being controlled. Yes? So your exam and getting good marks in the exam is going to overcome. Right now you're looking for temporary satisfaction. I'm bored, man. So let me go on TikTok, and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll. Because you want gratification now. You want happiness now. You want to feel good now. So you scroll and you scroll and you scroll. You go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, and you go on YouTube, and you watch a Netflix series, and you're wasting time. Because this lower side of you wants to feel happy now. But you know you're worth more than that. You know that gratification, when it's delayed, is pure gratification. You know that when you achieve the goal, when you put a goal and you achieve it, when you set a goal and you achieve it, achieving that goal, no matter how long it's going to take, is going to make you feel so much better. So delay the gratification and overcome that lower self. When you give into the lower self, you're giving into a web of desires that can become endless. Self-interest that becomes endless. This leads to what? To the degeneration of your spirituality. You begin to lose, you can't be bothered for prayer anymore. You lose your connectedness in dua. You can't be bothered to read Quran. You go to a majlis and you just can't wait for it to be finished. So, if you are to take this time and just overcome this by learning about yourself, learning about your potential, learning about your capability to overcome and to control yourself, you can control this side of you. You can delay gratification. And mind you, there's, on this topic of gratification and instant gratification, and there's so many aspects we could talk about it. We could talk about it from a neurological perspective and talk about dopamine and the neurotransmitters that are happening in your brain, and that addiction that's by itself is honestly, like, in my humble opinion, I believe in today's society, there's just a bunch of dopamine addicts. Everyone is just addicted to that. What's dopamine? Dopamine is the neurotransmitter in your brain. It's like, picture in your brain there's a train station, right? In this train station, there are different lines. Each line, let's call that a neurotransmitter. You have a train that tells your body to get ready to sleep, for example, right? You have a train that tells your body to get up. It's waking up time. There's a train that tells you to do. There's a train that tells you to feel happy. Dopamine is that train station. It's that line, that train within you that tells you, hey, there's something to achieve right now. It's the motivation feeling that you get. It's that. So this dopamine that's expressed within your mind, in your brain, that's released, that makes you feel good. The natural and healthy way for you to achieve this is through prolonged gratification, through exercise, through tough work, through studying, through reading, through achieving goals, through. But another way of getting this dopamine is through TikTok, is through Instagram, is through social media, is through watching and playing games, right? But that's a quick way of getting it. It's a fast way of getting it. But when you get it so quickly, your brain becomes adapted to this. And what happens with dopamine is when you stop doing this task that's bringing you dopamine, you don't go back to the state that you were in before you started this task. You go to the low. You get worse. So when you take off, when you chop your phone and you stop scrolling through TikTok, what am I going to do now? And you feel bad, and you feel bored, and you feel you can't be bothered for anything, and you feel lethargic, and you feel tired. Do you see where the addiction is coming from? Do you see the power and the impact of this addiction on us? So of course, all of this is connected. When you understand yourself to this level and understand the needs of the soul and how to give and quench the thirst of the soul with your mind and your body and, you can overcome these little desires. This journey of cleaning and understanding yourself is similar to what? It's similar to cleaning a mirror that's dirty, it has mud on it, right? The more you wipe away this dirt, the dirt is like your ego tendencies, the tendency for instant gratification, the more you wipe this mirror, the mirror begins to reflect. The mirror is your heart. Your heart begins to reflect in a more purer form the light of your soul. The nur of your soul, the nur of your potential, the nur of your uniqueness, the nur of what you're actually capable of becomes to reflect better from this mirror. But you must clean it. You begin to become a better reflection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a better reflection of the name of Allah and the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this leads you to what? To ascending in spirituality. This leads you to bettering yourself spiritually. So, nurturing your soul, taking care of your soul through becoming aware of this inner kingdom, through becoming aware of the actions. And over the past 7 or 8 nights, I've provided many practical ways that you can work on nurturing your soul by nurturing the inner kingdom. When you work on all of these different paradigms within you, when you work on having emotional intelligence, when you work on controlling your subconscious mind, when you work on controlling and maintaining a healthy body, when you work on reading your heart from the mud and the illnesses of the heart, of guilt and of shame, of hurting other people, when you rid yourself of these things and you approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, when you approach Allah in dua, when you approach yourself in self-reflection, that is when you are cleaning this mirror and you become a better reflection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now let us turn to a beautiful example of someone who lived this principle. The son of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. According to our narrations, the son of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam, was 28 years old. And he embodied this perfect alignment within this inner kingdom, with aligning the divine virtues over earthly passions. Brothers and sisters, as we walk through the lands of Karbala, we're reminded of the event when Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam closed his eye for a moment and he saw a horseman in his vision saying, indeed, the people are walking and their destiny, he's talking about the companions, and their destiny walks towards them. The Imam woke up, it was like a little type of a dream. The Imam wakes up reciting, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we belong and to Him we return. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Who was next to him? Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam. And he asks him about, Father, why are you saying this? Like, what's happening? Why are you saying Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un? So when the Imam told him about the vision that he had, Ali al-Akbar, what did he do? He didn't express fear. He didn't express like, oh, let's retreat, let's go back home. He didn't panic. Basically, the vision that Imam was saying was, everyone's going to die. That's the vision. Ali al-Akbar didn't panic, not for a moment. Instead, he asks his father. He says, Father, alasna ala al-haq? Are we not on the path of truth? And then Imam says, yes, of course. He says, then we do not care. إِذَنْ لَا نُبَالِي أَوَقَعْنَا عَلَى الْمَوْتِ أَمْ وَقَعَ الْمَوْتُ عَلَيْنَا. Then we do not care whether we fall upon death or death falls upon us. Allahu Akbar. This was the measurement for Ali al-Akbar. He knew what the soul needed, and he knew that he's on truth, and he knew that his soul is constantly in strife for truth and for perfection and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he knew this is how we're going to attain it. So he says, it doesn't matter. أَوَقَعْنَا عَلَى الْمَوْتِ أَمْ وَقَعَ الْمَوْتُ عَلَيْنَا. Imam Hussain alayhi salam's face lit up. He smiled and he says, may Allah reward you as the best son rewards his father. Hani'an laka ya Aba Abdullah. Honestly, congratulations. Imagine having a son like this, who in one sentence reaffirms you, in one sentence can bring you ease. He embodied the Quran, the values of Islam. He emulated, he looked khalqan wa khuluqan like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He looked, imagine your son looks like the chosen one. Your son looks like the last messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, kullu mashtaqna, every time we missed my grandfather Rasulullah, we would look at Ali al-Akbar. But we say, Ya Aba Abdullah, may Allah support you in this moment and magnify your reward. When Ali alayhi salam comes and asks you for permission to go out to the battlefield, the first one, Ali al-Akbar wouldn't allow anyone, because the companions were passed away, everyone's passed away, and now came the family of Rasulullah. Who's the first to fight from the family of Rasulullah? Ali al-Akbar wouldn't allow anyone to enter the battlefield before him. So he was the first one in Banu Hashim to rise and to go to combat, to initiate combat. Imam Hussain alayhi salam couldn't hold back. When he saw his son in front of him, bidding him farewell without tears streaming down his eyes, he was serious. He then gathered both his hands behind the neck of his son, Ali, and he pulled him close to embrace him. He showered him with kisses until their tears mingled with each other. Ali al-Akbar knows that this is the last time he will see his father. Then he bid him farewell. Ali al-Akbar goes and bids farewell to the women who surrounded him. Imagine his aunties, his mother, his aunties, his cousins, all around him. What are they saying to him? علي ارحم غربتنا فلا طاقة لنا على فراقك. Ali, have mercy on our estrangement, for we cannot bear your departure. However, Ali alayhi salam knows his responsibility. He puts on his armor and he moves on. He heads towards the meeting with his beloved Rasulullah. He enters the battlefield and he is screaming, Ana Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali. نحن وبيت الله أولى بالنبي تالله لا يحكم فينا ابن الدعي أضربكم بالسيف حتى ينحني أطعنكم بالرمح حتى ينثني ضرب غلام هاشمي علوي. I am Ali, the son of Hussein, the son of Ali. By the prophets, our house is closest to God's decree. By God, the impostor's son shall not rule over me. I shall strike you with my sword until you flee. I'll pierce you with my lance till you bow and plead. The strokes of a Hashemite, Al-Alawi, you will see. After inflicting a grand defeat upon the crowd, he returned to his father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, lamenting about the agony of thirst and pain. Allahu Akbar. To his noble father, his thirst he does share. To his noble father, his thirst he does share. None to complain but the ones who truly care. Oh Father, a sip of water for my liver craves. Against the crowd I stand alone, my strength wanes. Oh my father, my liver splits. What's he saying to him, Abu Abdullah? My liver splits, and truth be told, the sun, the thirst, the field, the heat, it unfolds. From where, Ya Ali, where do I bring you water? From where do I bring the water? He wonders aloud, isn't it your story that moves the crowd? Return, my son, return, Ya Ali, for you have reserved the cup from your grandfather, Rasulullah. Ali al-Akbar returned to the battlefield and continued to strike them with his sword. They fled before him until the cursed Murra bin Munqidh al-Abdi approached him, saying, the sins of the Arabs are upon me if I do not burden his father with him. As Ali al-Akbar was chasing a group of the enemy, this wretch came from behind him. He strikes him on his head, splitting his helmet. Ali al-Akbar cries out, Assalamu alayka, Ya Aba Abdullah. Here is my grandfather Rasulullah, who has given me a drink from his fullest basin. I shall never be thirsty after it. Then his horse, what did the horse do? He took him to the enemy's camp. May Allah reward you, my brothers and sisters. One man strikes Ali with his sword, another stabs him with his spear, another fires an arrow into him until he falls to the ground. Abu Abdullah rushed to him, laying down beside him, putting his cheek on his cheek, and he's saying, Bunayya Ali, Ali ala dunya al-afa ba'dak ya Ali. My son Ali, after you life will be unbearable. But if you have found relief from the world of worries and sorrows, Ali, you have left your father to its anguish and sorrow. While Abu Abdullah was absorbed in the pain of his son's loss, he suddenly heard a dear cry, a heart-wrenching voice calling out, Ya Abata, Ya Ali, Ya ibn Akhi, O son of my brother. Who was this voice? Indeed, it was the voice of Zainab. Abu Abdullah runs to the camp. The poet puts this beautifully. Brothers and sisters, bear with me, this is gonna break your heart. Oh, Ali Rah, Ali Rah, Ya Zainab قوم سندني علي راح علي راح علي راح تعالي وعاونيني نشد الجراح اشيله شلون لما اخاف تموت يمه اخاف تموت يمه علي راح علي's gone علي's gone علي's gone oh Zainab rise and support me Ali's gone Ali's gone Ali's gone come aid me in binding the wound so deep how do I lift him Allahu Akbar Ali Rah how do I lift him his mother I fear might fall Ali Rah Ali Rah تعالي يا اختي يا زينب نشد الجراح تعالي يا اختي زينب تعالي انقطع راس الولد يا اختي قبالي تعالي وعاونيني وهذا حالي هذا حالي انكتب قدامي تنذبح عيالي علي راح come hither my sister Zainab come see the severed head of the boy my sister before me come and help me endure this pain that I see. In front of me it's written for my children to be slain. Ali Rah, Ali Rah, جيتك بس أدق الراح بالراح. Ali's gone. I came to see, slowly merging sorrow with sorrow. Ali's gone, Zainab, Ali's gone. I watched them cut him right in front of me with the spears and the arrows. Ali is gone. I fear his mother might crumble, Ya Zainab, before me. I fear she might fall. Ali is gone. Allah isma', listen my brothers. Ali is gone. Ali راح. علي راح. إذا أنا أبوه وما عرفته، أود شلون يا أختي لما جثته. Zainab, Ali's gone. If I, his father, could not recognize him, how do I, sister, carry his body to his mother so grieve? I fear it might break her heart and his sister's heart. Ya Zainab, I swear they broke her heart. Listen, Zainab, huh? Oh, Zainab, Ali's right hand's gone. Ali راح. احترق قلبي عليه ويضحك الذباح. My heart aches for him and the executioner grins. Ya Zainab, they're laughing at my son, they're laughing at him. Ali راح. يا زينب لحم ابني تقطع أصفاح. علي راح. الولد مطحون عظمه، أخاف تموت يمه، أخاف تموت يمه. Sister, Ali's gone. Oh Zainab, my son has been torn into pieces. The boy's bones crushed. I fear his mother's heart seizes. Zainab, I fear she might fall because Ali's gone. يا زينب بالبواكي ساعديني. Oh Zainab, help me in this fight, Zainab. I wish my eyes had not seen this sight. علي على صدرك اختي زينب. Imagine, my Zainab on your chest, my sister Zainab, take me. I saw one pierce my son with a spear. علي راح. علي راح. يا خي ياخذيني بلشت بصدرك ارتاح. Maybe my sister will find peace in your heart. علي راح. علي راح. يا زينب وزعوه بانواع السلاح. Oh Zainab, they dispersed my Ali with all sorts of weapons. His mother lost his picture. She's gonna fall, Ya Zainab. I fear she might fall. Ali is gone. Ali is gone. So harsh was the thrust, a dagger which has tore him part by part. واحد حرق قلبي يا العضيد ميت. علي ويضربه بحديده يا زينب. علي راح. علي راح. علي راح. أحس قلبي وقف لما عليه طاح. علي راح. علي's gone. علي's gone. My heart stopped as Ali fell off the horse. على ذبحه تناوب 100,000 سفاح. 100,000 butchers dwelled over the slaughter of Ali al-Akbar. إذا ليله أسلم أخاف تموت يم زينب. I fear his mother will die if she sees him يا زينب. علي راح يا زينب شفت منظر هز كياني. أو زينب I saw a scene that shook me يا زينب. What's this scene, huh, brothers and sisters? What's this scene? They passed his turban from one to the other so free, and one kicked my son Ali relentlessly. واحد يضحك ويشتمني اني, and one laughed and cursed me. يا علي علي راح سيدي يا ابا عبد الله. السلام على الشيب الخضيب. السلام على الخد التريب. السلام على البدر العطشان. السلام على الجسد المرمل بالدماء. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخيه أبي الفضل العباس وأخته العقيلة زينب. سيدي يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت محمد بأي منقلب ينقلبون. والعاقبة للمتقين.